So, Crosby, have you ever driven a car before?
I have been known to drive cars.
Okay. Have you ever driven a virtual car?
I have been known to drive virtual cars as well.
Okay, how about virtual race cars?
Ooh, haven't in years.
Okay, alright, so maybe there is something that I can show you in this beautiful game known as Forza Motorsport 7 by Turn 10 Studios and published by Microsoft. So, you've driven cars before, but have you driven giant Mercedes racing trucks?
Oh, no, I have not.
Yeah. I'm trying not to spoil this too much, but this is the best part of Forza Motorsport 7. Being able to be in your big truck with other big trucks.
That sounds like a dream.
It's pretty great. And I kind of wanted to start here to show you this game, because this is kind of what it's all about, right? It's all about this driving and how it feels and how cool it is to kind of get the feel of a vehicle that you will never actually drive in your lifetime.
Yeah, I feel like that's what these types of games do best when they're at their peak.
Yeah, and especially since, I think I've talked about it on some podcasts lately, but I recently made one of those big boy adult purchases of buying a ridiculously complicated steering wheel with force feedback and pedals, etc. And so being able to play this game with both of those makes it feel fantastic.
God, you're such a nerd.
I know. You say that, and I feel a little twinge of guilt until I feel all this like vibration and force feedback, and like slamming on the brakes makes the steering wheel rattle like crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think kind of the key question is, for Forza 7, how does the driving feel? And the answer is the driving feels really, really good. I mean, you can change cars around. You got different tracks. You've got a whole bunch of different options you can set up. You've got controls like the Xbox pad up to racing and steering wheels. I bet you could even do mouse and keyboard, considering this is the first official full-blown Forza game to be on PC other than Forza Horizon.
Oh, wow.
3,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they had Forza Apex, which I believe was just kind of like this free-to-play couple of races available on the PC.
Okay.
They had Forza Horizon 3, which is kind of their more arcadey open-world racer on PC. But this is the first full-blown main series Forza Motorsport 3 that's been available on the PC.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but just to say, I don't know if have you played any like Windows Xbox Play Anywhere / Windows app games?
I have not. That was my next question. Is this a Play Anywhere title?
It is an Xbox Play Anywhere title as long as you buy the digital copy. I've made that mistake before where you buy a physical copy at the store and it's not actually Xbox Play Anywhere. You basically have to buy a digital copy through the Windows Store, and then you get it on the Xbox One, and you have to launch it through basically Windows 10 / Xbox / Game App Store, whatever they call it.
Okay.
So it's not like if you get a Steam copy, it'll be Xbox Play Anywhere. Which is a nice ecosystem, but honestly, that entire ecosystem is just really difficult to manage.
I feel like we might have learned that in setting up this video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff like trying to use things like OBS to record video. It gives you frame stuttering. The game doesn't quite run like normal. It doesn't have volume out in the normal volume mixer on the PC. And this is things that I've experienced with Forza Horizon 3 and other Xbox Play Anywhere titles on the PC as well. It's just kind of an annoying setup and a lot of caveats for what should be a first-party title on the PC.
Right. You'd think that integration would give you more room for managing it, but it really doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah, and this isn't Cuphead. I don't mean to like denigrate Cuphead, but this isn't an indie title that Microsoft is just publishing and doing kind of a Play Anywhere push for. This is Forza. This is one of the very few title franchises they have that are actually iterating on and coming out with new titles every year. So.
Yeah, and this is one of their big launches of this year.
Exactly, yeah. And so, I mean, the game looks beautiful, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, the only issue is when I first installed the game, I was getting really bad micro stuttering.
Okay.
I'm actually getting a little bit now. If you can I'm not sure how well you can tell, considering we're doing like Skype screen sharing, so the quality's probably terrible anyways. But essentially, when you're starting like cutscenes, they'll freeze for the first couple of seconds, or even just in a menu, your drivatar will be doing their idle animation, and you'll just get micro stutters the entire time.
That would annoy me forever.
Yeah. So I kind of got rid of it by, apparently, if you just turn off the dynamic optimization, which is basically, they have it set up for this game. They've used it in some other games. It's kind of popular on consoles, especially. It's dynamically scaling the resolution and the quality of all of the graphics depending on how your computer is currently performing. So if you set a target of 30 FPS or 60 FPS, it's going to constantly change the visual quality of the dashboard or the visual quality of the grass, or even go so far as to drop the resolution just to make sure that you maintain that frame rate.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it sounds like something that would be incredibly good if it actually worked, but it turns out that by default all of that is on, and that was causing the micro stuttering.
Oh.
Yep. So I have like a GTX 1080. I turned off dynamic. I turned everything up to ultra, and it runs beautifully at 60 FPS without micro stuttering.
Wow. So they gotta fix that little problem.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I don't mean to get super technical on this, but it's like this game should run beautifully. If you look at their recommended specs and their like minimum specs, they're ridiculously low, and you think this game's going to run beautifully, but it has the exact same problems that Forza Horizon 3 had and a lot of the other Play Anywhere titles, where it doesn't run that well. Oh jeez.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
So I just want to interrupt you here. Who is this magic man painting these arrows for you? That's my question.
Oh yeah. So you see, I'm what's called not good at video games.
Okay.
So basically, kind of a stalwart of the Forza series. I'm not sure if they invented it, but it's kind of popular across a lot of games now. This essentially is the optimal line to go through the racetrack. So it's the idea of if you enter the corner at this point and you stay on this side of the track, then it's the quickest way through the track, and then the colors dictate what you should be doing in terms of brake and acceleration. So blue is accelerate, yellow is maintain speed, red is brake.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so there's also, let me see if I can go in here real quick. There's also these assists, so you can literally turn on like braking assist. You can turn simulation to normal or assisted. If you turn it to assisted and super easy, it literally turns into kind of that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch, where it will help you steer. So as you're coming towards a corner and you have to take a left, it will steer you to the left. Isn't that crazy?
That's weird.
Yeah. So I have it up here on simulation, traction control off, all these other things. It's just things that add difficulty to the game, but also a sense of realism. And have you played a Forza game before?
I have. I've played this month Forza 5, I think, is the free title. I downloaded it, and I think I did one race, but that's about it. Yeah,
I've played some of 4. I played 6, and I played 7 now, and I played the Horizon 3. So I don't have a deep depth with the series, but a lot of it is the series kind of. The main thing about the series is, number one, it's Gran Turismo on the Xbox, which they're not exactly the same, but it's Gran Turismo for non-PlayStation owners. The other thing is that it provides kind of this nice balance between simulation and arcade. So if you want to go full arcade, you can. If you want to go full simulation, you can get pretty close, but not quite to like iRacing or some of the Project Cars 2 or some of the super crazy simulator racings, but you can get pretty close.
Okay.
So basically these settings just determine, if you want to shift manual or automatic, if you want the brakes to prevent them from locking up, or if you want to be in control of that. So there's all these settings where you can kind of dial it in for you, as in what feels correct and what feels right, and also what doesn't feel too difficult. So for example, if I turned off stability control, I've already got traction control off, I could basically get in a situation where every time I touch the throttle, my car spins out because I'm giving it too much gas and it's in a corner and it spins.
Oh, wow.
But because I have stability control on, it's less of an issue. So that's kind of the nice thing about Forza, is that it's this nice balance between arcade and sim, and you can make it as difficult or as easy as you want.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think I'm about done with this race, but I kind of wanted to start out with just this driving to show you that the driving's still good. And even though it's not raining in this race, they've improved the weather dynamic that they introduced in Forza 6. I'm not sure if they introduced it in Forza 6 or if they just kind of improved it a lot. But basically, the idea is if it's raining during a race, in 7 it can start raining, so it's not raining the whole time. You can have changes of weather. It can go from night to day, raining to dry. And the other thing is that if the track is wet, it feels like it's wet. Like you'll hit a puddle, it's an actual puddle, it's not just a texture on the ground. You'll hydroplane, you'll start to lose traction. You've got to change how you drive because of the weather. Wow. And honestly, that's pretty crazy, especially how well it works.
Yeah. That's wow. I can't imagine simulating puddles. Like real puddles.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it you really do hydroplane, or you've got to alter your racing line, because if you dip one of your right tires in the puddle, all of a sudden you're losing traction on that side and you start to spin, and it feels great. It's crazy.
That's incredible. So that's truck racing. That's one aspect of this game.
Yep.
Do they have cars as well? I'm assuming.
I think they do. But let's take a look and see. But kind of before we get to the cars, we have to talk about what's different with this game compared to the rest of the series.
Are those cards?
Yeah. So here's the problem with this game. Everything outside of the racing is convoluted, complicated garbage. So let me show you what I mean. So basically, you get money or credits for winning a race. And with those credits, you can buy cars. So that's kind of how it's always been in Forza. You're winning races, and that lets you buy cars, and then you can buy cars either for a specific series that you want to race in. If you want to race NASCAR, then you buy a NASCAR.
Right.
You buy a NASCAR car. You buy a North American Stock Car Association racing car. I don't know how to say NASCAR car, but let's go with that. So the other thing you can...
You go.
Yes. So the other thing is that as you got these cars and you improved through the single player, you would get access to faster races. So it's kind of just like a generic standard racing progression. You win money that lets you buy cars, you get faster cars, and you unlock faster races and bigger races as you go through the series. Does that sounds pretty familiar for the genre, right?
Yeah. You get money, you use money to buy car, and you unlock more things with more car you buy.
Yep. Okay, so here's where things go awry in Forza Motorsport 7. So first of all is that the cars, not all cars are available to purchase. They're set up by this car collection. So the idea is you are a car collector, and as a tier 1 car collector,
so you're
you
Jay
only
Leno.
have access. Exactly. Yeah. Or you're more like you are Jay Leno, but your neighbor that happens to have the same name as Jay Leno, but isn't actually Jay Leno.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get into that character. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, if you want to buy a 1987 GMC Vandura van, you go right ahead, buddy. You can find that.
Oh, sweet.
But these are the only cars you have access to at the beginning. And then each of these cars, you can kind of see in the top right, for this Honda Civic, it's a plus 65. You get a collector points. So the idea is as you collect these cars and purchase them, you get collector points. And that'll bump you up a tier, and once you get bumped up a tier, you can buy better cars and more collectible cars. And then they bump you up to tier 3. So part of this is what cars you have, and more importantly, what tier you're on, determines which series you can do in these races. So, for example, this Birth of Grand Prix, even though I am in this part of the single player and I can select from any of these race series to race, I cannot select the Birth of Grand Prix because it says reach tier 4 to compete in this series. So it's essentially gating your access. It's saying you need to buy a certain collector's points worth of cars before we will even allow you in this series. And the other thing is, after you're in the series, then you also need to buy a car that can compete in this series, which would be a classic Grand Prix car.
Right. So if you were someone who came to this game just to race and not collect cars, you essentially have to do the car collecting.
Well, so I think there is one loophole, which is if you come over here to free play outside of single player, and then you can select a car, and nope, never mind. Yeah, you're only allowed to pick cars from your collection.
Jeez. Now,
Yeah.
that's a legendary. Can you drive that since you're not tier 5?
Yes, I can drive it, but only because I own it.
Okay,
I
okay.
won this through a showcase. I didn't purchase it. Because it's tier 5 and I'm only tier 3, I think. I cannot purchase tier 4 and up right now.
Okay. Wow, that's
Yeah, so-
that's weird.
Yeah, because there's some people who play this game, they don't care about the single player. They just come in and they say, I like Forza because it has 700 vehicles, so I can go find a 1986 Honda Civic and I can race it on the Nürburgring. And then all of a sudden they try to do that and they realize, wait, I've got to unlock that tier and I've got to go through the single player and I've got to earn the credits to buy that car. I can't just go to some free play practice mode and pick any car I want on any track. And that's very frustrating, honestly.
Yeah, that does not sound like a lot of fun for someone who just wants, like you said, they have these arcade options. And it doesn't sound like you can just pick. I wish they had a mode where you could just pick any car and it counts towards nothing.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. If I just want to pick some super car and, just race it around some Top Gear test track. There we go.
There we go.
And just have fun with it. I can't, because I can't afford the car, and I can't even get to the point where I can attempt to afford the car for purchase until you go through all this rigmarole through the single-player campaign. The good news is they do provide extra ways to make money.
Oh, no. You're not selling your body again, are you?
Look, I told you that sometimes a man's got to eat, okay?
A man's got a race.
A man's got to race. So they have mods.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
if I'm not...
Steam Workshop?
Ooh. Oh my god, why would you say that? That sounds so good. Oh my god. No, so mods are... I believe the way this worked previously were these were mods that you could collect, and they would basically turn them on per race. So you can see I have 3 mods down here. I only have 1 equipped right now.
Okay.
And I have essentially cards that I can equip. So card says... If I race in the rain, which means before I race, I say this race is going to be in the rain, and then I get plus 30% credits for that race. Some of them are just like, hey, straight improved race reward. Some of them, I think I have 2 race in the rain. This one is perform 2 perfect passes, and it gives me plus 50% credits for the race. And then there's uses, 1 to 3 uses per card. So the idea is you add these modifiers to a race. They're like small challenges that you give to yourself, and then you complete the challenges and you get more money or more experience than you normally would from the race.
Okay.
So on the face of it, that's not that bad, right?
Right, but I also noticed there's a little thing that says buy prize crates.
Yeah. Okay, so here's how you get them. You get new mods by doing these prize crates. So let's open... Oh, I feel like just blowing all my money. Let's do it. Okay. We're going to open this one.
Okay,
Wait, what's
I'm
this?
ready.
Ooh.
Oh,
No, I'm gonna do
yeah.
this. Mystery crate.
Large-
Okay, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right.
You buy that.
So just to be clear,
you buy that right
this
now.
This is in-game money, but I almost guarantee you, just like the previous Forza games, this will turn into real money at some point in terms of buy it for 150,000 credits of in-game or $5 of real money.
Oh,
Yeah, so let's see. Let's see what we got.
really want
Okay,
that new
let's open
Lucio
it up.
skin.
Let's see. Oh boy. Just give me a 1990 Mazda Miata.
Oh man. Oh, Blue Eyes
Okay.
White Dragon.
Cosmetic, and a car.
Ooh.
Cool.
Hey.
So at least I got a free car out of it. But at the same time, I don't think that car was worth 150,000.
True, but that sweet helmet might be.
That's true. And as your car collection rating goes up, the rewards that you get to pick from every time you level up also goes up. So it's kind of just this incestuous nest of weird mechanics all tying towards this convoluted progression system.
So it kind of sounds like they had a business meeting, and one guy who studied business was like, listen, if we make it really difficult to play our game unless people spend money,
Okay, I'm on board.
then we get more money.
Okay, all right.
So let's do that.
Oh, okay.
And then everyone
Okay.
clapped, and they gave him a lot of money, and then that's what happened.
Christmas bonuses for everyone.
Yeah,
That's how business works, right?
that's exactly how business works.
I think the sad thing is that's how this business works.
I told you I was
So-
in their boardroom.
Yeah. So here's, out of all of that, and as convoluted as that whole system is, here's the thing that rubs me the worst. Rubs me the most wrongly. Yeah, let's put it that way. So you can see this mod is breaking line only, which means that it's modifying the settings that I showed you previously, like the assists.
Okay.
In terms of, like, this is saying that you're only going to have the braking line, you're not going to have a turn. It's not going to show you where to be on the track. There's other ones that are things like turn steering to arcade, or turn off traction control, things like that. But if you remember...
Oh, so many
okay.
menus.
I know, it's just... okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay. Well, let me go into my NASCAR anyways.
NASCAR
Do
car?
you like my NASCAR? Yeah, you like my NASCAR car?
Napa? Chevrolet?
Napa? Uh-huh.
Mountain Dew?
It's just a shame. Like, there's I think over 700 cars in this game. They all look gorgeous. There's this community making these liveries, I don't know how to pronounce them, all this decoration for the car, so you can just find 20 million different anime stickers to put on your car.
As it should be.
As it should be. The racing feels fantastic, but the tie between the races and everything you've got to do in menus outside of races is bad.
Yeah, that's really upsetting.
Yeah. So let me show you this assist. So you can see right now that I have the full suggested line, braking, ABS off, traction control off. So if I put a mod on that said traction control off, I would get extra credits. But if I didn't have that mod and I didn't equip it, I would not get extra credits for having traction control off all the time like I do anyways.
Okay, that's...
Let me sweeten the pot a little bit. In all of the previous Forza games, you would get extra credits and extra XP. At least I think the extra XP for having it off. You would basically modify your difficulty by changing the assist, and by changing the assist, you would get more credits at the end of a race. And they've removed that and put it behind mod cards that you have to get through these loot boxes that you have to pay money for. In-game money, but it's still a system where they had a previous thing where it's like, if you want to drive easy, fine. You drive easy, you get this much credits. If you drive full simulator, you get, 80% more credits. And now all of that is locked behind loot boxes.
Forza, why?
I know! The game feels so good,
They went
and they just messed up everything around it.
they went big business.
Yeah. So it's frustrating, I mean, I don't know how you feel about loot boxes. I feel like there are good ways to do them and there are bad ways to do them. And this is not a good way.
This is definitely a bad way of doing them.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it is when you buy these loot boxes, or I'm sorry, prize crates, you can buy ones that are just mods,
Okay.
but then you kind of want these bigger ones, which are car, driver gear, mods, and badges. Car is a car. That helps most of the time. It's a free car, and it bumps your collection rating. Driver gear is cosmetic. Mods help. Badges are cosmetic. So basically, the crate that I just opened had 1 mod and 3 cosmetic items. So the driver gear is just what your driver looks like. What kind of uniform you want him to wear.
Gotcha.
And the badges is just what's on your account, what shows up next to your avatar in multiplayer. So it's one of those things where you're having to gamble on prize crates, and there's no guarantee that you will actually get the things that will make the grind and the payment system and the collection system any easier for you, because you may end up just getting a whole bunch of cosmetic items that you don't care about.
Yeah, I feel like, in my opinion, when loot crates work, it's because they give you cosmetic items and things you can earn in the game normally.
Yeah.
It might take a while to get that thing normally. It'll be a bigger chance, or you could pay money and get it now, but it has no effect on the game.
Exactly. Yeah, and so it's frustrating because as we hop back in a race here, it's NASCAR. I don't even enjoy NASCAR. I don't even enjoy oval racing. I'm more of an F1 guy, but this is fun. I'm at Daytona. I'm in my own Napa-themed car. I'm bouncing around. It's trying to hold it against the line. So I'm going through these ovals at like 190, 200 miles per hour. It feels fantastic. And then every menu is plastered with loot crates, mods, and this weird car collection system. It's so frustrating.
Now, what I want to know is there's double yellow lines. Does that mean the NASCAR track is an official roadway?
No, I think that's just the division between the raceway and what they call the apron.
Okay.
So basically, there's a road down there, but I don't think you're allowed down there. That's kind of what they would call, I wouldn't really call it cutting the track because it's going to hurt you more than anything else, but
gotcha.
That's going to hurt you. So there's also pit entrances and pit exits where mid-race you need to change your tires or fuel up, things like that. You'll follow those lines to kind of take the pit entrance lane and the pit exit lane to cross over between the raceway and the non-racing
gotcha
lines, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Will, you have no idea. This feels so good right now.
I'm very,
oh my god.
I'm very jealous of your racing wheel.
I know. It's just like vibrating like a mofo. And I go in these corners and it's trying to because it's one of those crazy race wheels where I didn't even realize this until I really bought it. It has a motor in it, so it will actively try to turn against how you're turning.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. This is trying to come up on me. I just realized I cursed. We should probably bleep that out.
We'll bleep that out. We'll bleep that out, right?
Come on, Sergeant Major Pickle.
Put a happy little jingle for Sergeant Major Pickle.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like this is even with all the Windows stuff, this is a good launch on PC. It's kind of unifying the Xbox and Windows crowd. It's providing all this out-of-the-box support for the steering wheel. I didn't have to set this up at all. It just worked. 100%. I didn't even have to tweak the settings. And it feels so good. They even have this little camera mode here, which is basically remove the steering wheel and put you closer so that you don't see a fake steering wheel. You only see your race controller wheel.
I have my hands in front of my screen and it feels like I'm driving.
It's so good.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I know. It's just so much promise here. And I know we're not really doing a review, but I don't even know if I could recommend people buy this.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's depends on how much you want to race. Oh
no. What has happened?
I don't know. This is my steering wheel just did a very slow rotation, 360 degrees to the right.
This is unprecedented grounds for duo impressions.
Oh my god.
What has happened? The angry businessmen at Forza have hacked into our system here and disabled you from playing the game?
Well, I think for the safety of ourselves, our computers, and the entire
Subpixel
website, we have to end this.
It was nice knowing you, Ian Gibson.
I'll see you on the other side, brother.